Everyone, Ole Miss is the national champions. Take it in, enjoy it, have fun, go back and reflect on everything that the season has brought. But remember this, at the end of it, end of all of those tribulations, Ole Miss is the men's baseball national champion. This is Omaha Live, right here on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right. Welcome to Omaha Live, the Ole Miss National Champions edition of Omaha Live. And we're going to go for a good bit of time tonight. We might be a little bit loose in our formatting, a little bit loose in our programming, because we want you to have your say in the chat window. So in the chat window, have your say. Talk about what you want to talk about. Talk about what this means to you. Go back and reflect and think about all the stuff that you're happy about right now. Use the chat window for that. Anyway, before then, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. I know said hell or high water, we're going to do an Locked On Ole Miss podcast normally. I think this national championship postgame podcast will serve as Monday, but Tuesday we'll be back as normal. We'll talk about Jaden Rashada. We'll talk about all this extra stuff that right now doesn't mean a thing. But anyway, we are available on YouTube. Subscribe to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Of course, upvote the video itself. We are here today with Tom Vanderford. And honestly, man, Tom, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It's wonderful. It's surreal. We Derek and I both predicted this, of course, but it's here. It's real. Ole Miss, we're national champions, and it's just the greatest feeling in the world, man.
Yeah,
it's unstinking believable. You see the tweets coming in, and everybody's just so ecstatic. And I'll have to admit, I've been getting texts while we've been waiting from Notre Dame fans, from, of course, Ole Miss fans, from Mississippi State fans, even a few, just saying, congratulations, guys. The state of Mississippi showed out again. So it was good to see that we had some support from some of the in-state folks. And, of course, I'm sure there are some that aren't happy. But I sure as heck don't care. We are the national champions, and hotty dang toddy. It's all I can say.
Yeah, everybody expect a looser format tonight. Obviously, we're going to celebrate. We're going to give you an opportunity to have your say if you want to. And we're going to talk about the game, and we're going to talk about things that almost like redemption and feel-good arcs that now we can actually talk about. We can talk about what this means and legacy and all of that. But we have all this. We're going to start out with the actual ball game, though. And it was a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Hunter Elliott really had his A stuff. The pitcher for Oklahoma, I think his name was something Horton. Caleb Horton, maybe.
Yep.
Dude was absolutely dealing. If he would have stayed in the game, I know McCants just started that rally with that hard hit up the middle. If he'd have stayed in this game, Oklahoma would have probably won the game. This game was lost by their All-American reliever. It's amazing. Whenever it happened, Cade, thank you, Bill. The catcher, the phrase Choklahoma, and I'm not saying this in a mean thing, but Choklahoma, the catcher thinking a slider call was a fastball call twice in the eighth, won that game. The runner's interference call was crucial in that game. It was just fantastic. But if Cade Horton stayed in that game and just did all 9 innings, Ole Miss was not winning that game. The fact that they went to that reliever and they just could see absolutely everything he put up and just hit the ball hard.
Yeah, Horton was good. You know, he originally was committed to us, and then ended up signing with Oklahoma. But it sure is sweet, man. That's all I can say. It sure is sweet, and I got to give props. You know,
Okay.
I'm one of those guys that through the years I've given Coach a hard time from time to time. I've said things like the Mark Richt of college baseball, and I just want to fall on my sword tonight and say, "Hotty dang toddy, Coach Bianco, I'm proud of you. You're a good man. You were always a good man, and you've always been a fantastic leader. But tonight, you shut me up for good. I really, really, really am thankful that we have you for a coach, and you called a wonderful regional, super regional, and a World Series. My hat's off, man."
Yeah, I think Mike Bianco Stadium instead of Oxford University Stadium, Mike Bianco Stadium has a nice ring to it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it. He deserves it, and he deserves, at least from this Rebel fan, he deserves no more criticism whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Swayze Field at Mike Bianco Stadium, that excellent ring to it, because right now he gets a statue. I think Tim Elko gets a statue because he's the captain and the legend of the greatest baseball team in the history of Ole Miss baseball. There's no doubt in that. And Jacob Gonzalez absolutely showed up today. We've been waiting this whole College World Series for Jacob Gonzalez to show up, and he absolutely showed up in spades today and was instrumental to this win. He had 3 of our 6 hits, but it was fantastic.
And like we said last night, that it seems like a different person steps up every time. You know, every game, every situation, it seems like a different person steps up every time. And, you know, BJ had his stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
BJ had his stuff in the end, and, Elliott, that kid's just a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you just got to things look bright, you know, for next year. You know, we got a commitment in the transfer portal from a pitcher from Florida that's going to help us out. Throws in the mid-90s.
It's a potential weekend guy.
Yeah,
might be similar to Jack Washburn last year or John Gaddis.
Yeah.
And,
so you never know.
Yeah, in the chat window, the first word that comes to mind after the interference call was coup. Yeah, possibly, Bill Meehan. That's a call that Ole Miss doesn't normally get. The Landshark picker said, "Love it for Elko, Bench, and Graham that decided to come back this year." That's absolutely true. Eli Wells with the take of the night. MSU and Tennessee, mad right now. Yes, today was the worst day in Mississippi State baseball history. It was absolutely the worst day. Richard T says, "College World Series champions. Woohoo. Yes, Mike Bianco Stadium. Absolutely. That's something that needs to happen. Maybe put the statue of Tim Elko out front of it." And Bill Meehan said, "Gonzo came out of the fielding slump yesterday, and then the hitting came back today. Good time to end the slump." Clyde says, "Yes, we did. I can't believe we did it." Absolutely, Clyde. One thing that I am really happy about, and that is John Gaddis and Jack Washburn, who transferred to Ole Miss with the express choice, or the reason of making to the College World Series. And not only did they make it to the College World Series, they're the national champions. And John Gaddis pitched 2 times in this College World Series, was nails both times. Excellent performance. He delayed medical school, and I guarantee you he's as happy as heck that he did it. And Jack Washburn came in and performed as well. The pitching in this tournament was absolutely unreal, and that is going to be the story, I think, of what happened. It'd be Hunter Elliott and Jack Doherty and Dylan DeLucia and all those guys. I think the ERA was somewhere in the 1s. NJG Man says, how great was McCants? McCants was absolutely nails. He started that rally in the 8th inning with a solidly hit ball. We were waiting for him to make solid contact. He did, and that was able to work. And Rebel Rice says, I'm over the moon, scared my dogs off, yelling my heads off. I understand that as well. I probably raised my octave level a little bit as well. And yes, BJ was absolutely amped up in the 9th inning. Land Sharp Picker with that quote. Anyway, I was saying about those transfer kids coming in. I'm just so happy for them because they literally bet on themselves and they saw where they were, and the best chance to get there they thought was Ole Miss, and they saw something that apparently most other people did not see, especially midway through this season. But they were able to put it out, and John Gaddis just absolutely made amazing performances in his 2 outings in Omaha, including a crucial 2 outs with the bases loaded, where this game could have gotten sideways and Oklahoma could have walked away with it.
Yeah, I tell you, man. I tell you, you know, the big thing normally at Ole Miss is, you know, we may lose a game, but we don't lose the party. Well, we're the Jello shot champs in Omaha by, you know, thousands of shots, and we're the national champs in baseball. So you can't beat that, man.
Yeah, and give credit to the Road Rebels. They showed up, and. Yeah. Okay, don't take this the wrong way, people, okay? What I'm about to say, do not take this the wrong way. But at Swayze, when there's a big crowd in a super regional and things get tight, that place gets real tense. And players can feed off that and feel it and understand what's going in. This did not happen in Omaha. Even when Oklahoma was up 2-1, you didn't notice this happening. And I was very, very impressed by that. Maybe it could have been a different group of people in Omaha. Maybe it could be the same people and they were just too drunk to care because they knew that they had another game ahead of them. But that, to me, was a major part of this run that they made in Omaha, was the crowds backing them up and cheering them on, but not really doing the uber tense, we are Ole Miss type stuff. Which I actually hate that term, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, it was good. Of course, I perused Twitter some today, and there were people griping about the beer showers, and I'm sure there were fans doing a little beer showering in different parts of the stadium. But hey, that's just our tradition, you know. The Bulldogs have their cowbells, and we got our beer showers, so.
Yeah, I think what probably happened is this, and people are going to drag this woman for posting this on Twitter, but this happened to me at an LSU game, and my mother to this day hates LSU, but whiskey bottle and alcohol started flowing around my head in Jackson Memorial Stadium. I'm 8 years old. My mother's trying to keep me from getting hit in the head, and to this day, she is not an LSU fan. I imagine she probably had some young children in a situation like that and was really freaked out and focused on them. And Richard T says, Ole Miss pitching shut down, best hitting in the country all series long. Got all the hits when they needed them. Joey Freeman says, I'm glad Oklahoma changed pitchers. And Landshot Picker agrees with Richard T. Anyway, again, y'all are doing a fantastic job. Have your say in the thing. We're going to go for a decent amount of time tonight. I know we normally cut it short, but we want you guys to have say and have fun. I want y'all to bounce to all the streams, check out everything that everybody's doing, everything that everybody's saying about it. Enjoy this. I've been saying this all during Omaha. Enjoy this. Not many teams even get to feel this, get to do this. Even fewer with each win that they had in the tournament. And now it's such rarefied air. Ole Miss needs to enjoy this, and Ole Miss fans need to enjoy this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm I'm going to enjoy this for a long time, and I've got some Rebel friends at work that I know that are going to enjoy it for a long time. I've got a really good friend at work that her nephew played for Mississippi State a couple of years ago, and of course, she's had to endure some interfamily stuff as well. And I just, there's thousands of stories like that. So I'm excited for everybody. I haven't been this excited to get up on a Monday morning and go to work in a long time. I would like to say that last night it just took longer, but we were correct when we said we had to get into their bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, their pitcher, Cade Horton, he pitched great, but thank God they pulled him out, and we were able to get into that bullpen. And even though the reliever was an All-American, he wasn't good enough today. And we've heard our coach say it before, and it's just the way it is. That's baseball. We're just on the right end of it this time, and it feels so dang good.
All right, Tom, we're going to take a short break. I'm going to tell you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline is the presenter of today's podcast. Today's show is brought to you BetOnline. It's your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. They're the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. I'm worried that I'm about to get the hiccups, by the way. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Remember, in the football season, the Futures Forum, they're saying that Ole Miss is going to win 7.5 regular season games. If you agree or disagree, if you think that's higher or lower, this is an opportunity for you to have your say. Remember, BetOnline, where the game starts. All right. Just a second. Let me change this over real quick. Anyway, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including iTunes. Do me a favor. Go to iTunes and leave a review. You can leave anything you want to say down there. Just make sure it's a 5-star review. That will help us with the algorithm when people searches this podcast. So you can say whatever you want to say. I mean, I literally don't read it. Just say whatever you want to say. But leave a 5-star review. That'll help people find this show, especially if you're a fan of it. So do that for me. Tom, this is a pretty amazing day. It really is. And I think about all College World Series. We waited for Jacob Gonzalez to wake up. Absolutely wake up. And then the biggest game in the history of Ole Miss baseball, when they needed it most, he was there. He was half of their offense. He was solid in the field. He was the dude today. He was the All-American. He was the top 2023 draft prospect. Jacob Gonzalez finally arrived in Omaha today.
I completely agree. That's what we've been waiting to see for a long time. And, it started last night, like some have mentioned in the chat, with his glove. And today, hey, he was spot on with everything. I think he felt it. I think he was willing it to happen. I think for whatever reason, we just would not be denied. I mean, when we went down 2-1, I was like, oh goodness. And the team wasn't. They were like, hey, we got this, man. This is just another walk in the park. And we're going to do exactly what Derek and Tom said, and we're going to beat them in 2. We're going to go home, and we're going to celebrate our national championship.
Yeah, and Warren Davis, yes, he absolutely, when he showed up, he showed out. Today was a day for Jacob Gonzalez, and he was probably the reason that and the Oklahoma closer why Ole Miss won this game. That his offense, he started hitting the ball hard, and once you saw it coming off the barrel like that, you just knew that really good things were about to happen, and it absolutely did. He was seeing everything today.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's yeah. I mean, I'm not beating a dead horse. I'm just saying, it seems like we've had some steady stars the whole time, but we've had different people step up each game this series, and it's just been wonderful to watch. I mean, it we're a bases loaded where we couldn't score a position away from going through this whole thing undefeated. I mean, you count the regional, the super regional, and the World Series. We lost one stinking game the whole time, and we were in that one. It's just amazing how good our pitching was. Yeah. It blows my mind, because that pitching wasn't there in the middle of the season, and it's just you got to give credit to Coach Bianco. I mean, I know I'm probably going overboard, but I've heard people in the past say, well, he needs to hire a pitching coach. He needs to hire a pitching coach, because he's always kind of been the pitching coach. Well, once again, no, he doesn't. He is cemented his legacy, and anybody that calls for his head going forward, God bless them. They just got something wrong.
Right. Absolutely. We got a nice, fun little bot right now that I'm trying to take care of in the chat. So vamp for a little bit for me, if you don't mind, Tom.
Oh, no problem at all. Yeah. No problem at all. So we just, the pitching in this super, the regional, the super, and the series was just amazing. I can't think of any bad outings really at all from our entire pitching staff, and that is just unbelievable. I mean, you go from where we were with SEMO, we mentioned that before, and that was probably the low point of the year, to the total domination and the total four-dimensional chess that Coach Bianco has played during the regional, the super regional, and the World Series. It's just amazing. It's I've never seen anything like it as an Ole Miss fan. I just am so thankful. I'm so thankful. And Ole Miss Nation needed this national championship. And for all of us that work with lots of state folks, we needed it too.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm sitting here trying to do this to keep everything going, but I don't see anything posting in the moment. If he does again, I'll be ready to pounce on him, Mr. Naked Sex or whoever that is in the chat. But this should be a fun time for Ole Miss baseball fans. It was nice, and Landshot Picker right now has an excellent point. I think it was key that BJ had a fresh arm. He was not really used in the College World Series. It was Josh Mallett's almost all the way through, and when it came down to it, when we need him, man, he just looked like a different dude when he walked out there.
He looked like Ricky Vaughn in Major League, man. He went out there and he knew exactly what he was going to do, and he just mowed them down, brother.
Yeah, it's just something else. It was pretty amazing. Remember, in our chat, have your say. If we pick up a point, we will mention it. Remember, this will also serve as tomorrow's Locked On Ole Miss podcast, because we want people to enjoy this. Because I know everybody's going to be up for a while. We had a day game. You can enjoy this, and it should be really cool. We're up to like 70 streamers right now, but by 20 our highest amount in this whole Omaha run. So this is obviously a big day. Derek and Cara, by the way, to everybody that's tuning in for Derek or Cara, I am absolutely certain that they are really partying this heartily, and I can understand it, and let them have it. They have the link if they want to join in to the show, but I'm not expecting it. I will hook up with Derek Vandygriff this week to talk about his Omaha experience on a normal Locked On Ole Miss podcast. So that's what we're going to do with Derek. Tom, the last 3 outs, the top of the ninth, what was going through your head?
Oh, goodness. Beta blockers, get beta blockers. No, I just, I had this eerie confidence. Like I said, I just had this confidence in BJ. He was a man on a mission. And I felt good that it was, lower in the order that he was facing. And I just thought that was a recipe for success. And it was, man. God bless it. He just tore it up.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. It really was. And Landshark Picker says, I know what was going through our head. No Derek Diamond? And absolutely. Yeah,
I can't believe he didn't pitch at all. That kind of freaked me out.
He's the guy that didn't throw in the College World Series after basically being a Sunday starter the whole season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's one of those it is what it is type situations. But it still probably doesn't make you feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're Derek, but it just, once again, back to coach. He shuffled those pitchers. He knew what he wanted. Starting Doherty was huge. That's the day that I would have thought that we would have saw Diamond.
Yeah. But
starting Doherty was huge, and I can't believe we didn't even have to use DeLucia, man.
It just came in that Dylan DeLucia is named the College World Series Most Valuable Player.
Yeah, there you go, and he needs to be. He needs to be. He's amazing. He's amazing. So, and like I said, we've got some good bones for next year's team. Hopefully things will go good next year. If they don't, I give Coach a pass. All is well.
He's got about a 7-year pass.
He's got as long as he wants from this Rebel.
Yeah.
He has exercised a demon with this Rebel, let me tell you.
Well, in this postseason run, he has beaten Arizona and eliminated them. He has eliminated Miami. He's gotten through a advancement opportunity in a super regional. He has eliminated Arkansas. He won an winning opportunity in Game 2 in the College World Series National Championship Series. That 2-9 in advancement opportunities that you're going to hear from people doesn't really make sense because they did beat Arkansas this year in the College World Series, which nobody will ever talk about, and they won the whole thing to begin with. So it's like 3 or 4 advancement opportunities games that they won over this thing. So that narrative needs to die, and it needs to die quickly, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. He exercised every demon that he had. I mean, they beat Miami. That was a thorn in the side years ago, in a super regional. They beat the team that put Texas out. That's another one. They beat Arkansas. Arkansas has always been a thorn in our side, no matter what sport it is. So, like you mentioned,
the winner of that game, the Ole Miss Arkansas game, when they played to advance, was going to win the national championship.
Exactly. And like you mentioned, Van Horn's kind of had Bianco's number, and Bianco turned the tables on him. I mean, you can't say enough about Coach. And at the end of the game there, when they were interviewing him and they dumped the Gatorade on him, or Powerade, or whatever sports drink it was, and he had to take his sunglasses off, and he said, I didn't want you to see this. I didn't want you to see the tears. He's so happy and he's so relieved, and he loves Oxford. He's been there for 22 years, man. And he's part of the community, and I'm really just happy for him, having fans that have given him a hard time over the years.
Yes. Keeter Jones asked what happened to Taiwan Malone. As the season got towards the end, the roster kind of tightened up. So nothing really happened to Taiwan Malone. He just kind of happened. Let's see.
He'll be there next year.
Let's see if I blocked him that time. I think he got one more in. But he just wanted to take over our chat real quick. That's annoying. But I think
there he is again, man.
Let's see. Gus Garza, who won the second game of the series. Score: Ole Miss was the winner. They won 4-2. Oklahoma kind of self-destructed in the 8th. Ole Miss was able to take advantage following a clutch T.J. McCants hit and then a second hit by Justin Bench. And, I mean, it was just big. So, yeah.
We just got a thumbs up from a Arkansas fan, so that's good.
Yes, absolutely, and I'm dead serious about this. Ole Miss and Arkansas, whoever won that game was going to win the national championship. Landshark Picker says, one thing you can do for your live stream is to enable subscribers only can chat. That helps with the box. Thank you, Landshark Picker. I will research that before postgame live happens for football season, which will have a different cast of characters, although Tom will be there, but he will be able to do that. Richard T says, Bianco's Rebels mowed them down. Arizona, Miami, USM, Arkansas. Lastly, Oklahoma, now College World Series champions. It's just fantastic. It's all the things that we could ever want, and the excitement needs to be real. Everybody needs to enjoy this. Now, I'm the type of person, and I fully admit that I am a different type person when it comes to fandom than most people. But I consciously enjoy the ride. When Ole Miss made it into the NCAA tournament, I completely enjoyed the ride. That's the reason I had park days whenever they went to different ranks. It was so I could enjoy it and everything would be fun. So I suggest everybody just kind of enjoys the ride on all of this and understand and take all of this in and realize exactly what it means. Because let's be real. If in the big three sports, Mississippi State and Ole Miss can win a national championship, that means they can in basketball and football too. It's not mutually exclusive. It's not a baseball only thing. If it can happen in one of those three sports, it can happen in the other two. And that should allow Ole Miss fans to be more hopeful than they've ever been about their athletic department right now. Keith Carter, 2 national championships in 2 years. His AD test, he's passing them in flying colors. Absolutely. But Mike Bianco Stadium needs to absolutely happen and put a statue of Tim Elko and Kevin Graham while they're at it. He's woefully underrepresented. Justin Bench, those 3 seniors that came back, they should have a statue. Maybe have all 3 of them in one statue that kind of looks like the Omaha statue.
Oh, I completely agree. I think those 3 seniors that came back, and Coach Bianco mentioned that post game too, that he was just so proud for them that they came back and they were able to be the catalyst that made this whole thing happen.
Yeah, and hopefully most of the fan base does not get alcohol poisoning, because I think the Jello shot thing is up to like 18,000. They're going to end up winning this by 10,000. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
That's right.
Ole Miss wins the party once again. That's all that is. Ole Miss wins the party once again.
Wins the championship and wins the party.
Yeah, we win the championship and the party.
It's the way it should be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Real quick, we're gonna pause for just a second. I'm gonna click over to all of this because I need to leave an ad break for the second part for the podcast version of my show. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell for notifications when we release a new video, which actually happens quite frequently. And, of course, upvote the video itself. Remember, no Locked On Ole Miss podcast tomorrow. This will have to serve as the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. This national championship episode, me and Tom talking later in the week. I'm going to try and get Derek Vandygriff. I am sure he is celebrating at the moment. But this is the last commercial break that we have to take. And that is a good thing because we can just talk about baseball and whatever's going on. If you have anything in the chat that you want to talk about, let us know about it so we can talk about it honestly. But man, it's surreal, man. It's absolutely surreal.
It is. It is. Somebody just put up TJ should be second MVP, and he's been clutch, man, and he was one of those guys that along with Gonzalez that we were like, come on, man. You guys got to turn it around. Got to turn it around, and there wasn't a bad "We Are Ole Miss" moment in the whole College World Series. There really wasn't. It was wonderful. It's wonderful. As somebody who's having some health problems now, it makes me appreciate it even more.
Yeah, I imagine you were able to handle your day-to-day a little bit better.
Yeah.
With this happening. Brian Reeves asked the question, what about the freshman for Tupelo? Man, Hunter Elliott is nails, man. That kid is absolutely nails. Doug Nikhazy walked so he could run.
Yep. Yeah, because, in the middle of the year I was saying, hey, this guy could be another Nikhazy, and now it's like, I don't know, man. I think this guy could be something special. He's just a true freshman, and here towards the end of the year, nobody can beat him, man.
Right. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Hey, where would I put it in subscriber mode only? Because we have a bot issue tonight for the first time, and I think that's because the stream is up higher than it normally is. But we get that taken. As soon as they pop up, I'm banning them. But if you have a comment that I missed, put another comment up. Howard Ferguson said, I've been an Ole Miss fan since Archie was the quarterback and suffered through Sloan and Cooper. It's awesome to see Rebs national champs. And that's absolutely the truth. The whole thing is, we suffered through the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
My YouTube, Land Sharp Picker. It's YouTube. So let's see. How can I put this? My first game was Steve Sloan's last game. That shows where I was. I was a young kid during that. After that, I saw 2 or 3 games in 1983. But that's where I am. But we suffered in the 70s and 80s. You had a bunch of people that thought they knew better, that really bungled things and just kind of dug the hole even deeper and dug the hole even deeper. And you couldn't really get out of it. And honestly, we didn't honestly start to get out of it until Billy Brewer was fired for his NCAA violations. And I'm talking about athletic department as a whole. With Tommy Tuberville, his attitude kind of shifted things. David Cutcliffe kind of shifted things a little bit. Then they got pissed off at him, and it kind of backslid a little bit. But my point is this. We're finally at a point to where the right people that are running things are running things. And I understand that the Mike Bianco stuff is out there, and that happened, and they tried to basically do it again. But they didn't. They failed. It took a national championship probably for it to happen, but they failed at it. So we have a chance to make this athletic department our own. It's one of those things. Don't just blindly listen to people that claim knowing what to do. We know the right answer. That's how you end up with Billy Kennard. That's how you end up with Ken Cooper. That's how you end up with Ole Miss on probation 3 times in 4 years or something like that. Starting with the J.R. Ambrose episode, 87. In 84 or 94, that's how you end up on that level of probation. It's the wrong people running things. Now I think we have the right people in place running things. What do you think, Tom?
Oh, for sure, definitely. We have people that were groomed. We have people that love Ole Miss, and we've got a really good, the best athletic department that we've had in eons. I think that our AD is very, very good. I think he's proven himself. I think even though he's a lot younger and had a little bit less experience than Ross Bjork, that he is head and shoulders above Ross. I think he's done a great job, and I'm proud that he's our AD.
Yeah, I'm going to have to change that in the future as it says that. Thank you, Live Room Picker. Now that I have that, I can go into it. So thank you very much. Douglas A. Sherman says, I love this channel. Thank you. That's kind of the point. The whole point of this channel is to basically have fun following Ole Miss sports again. We don't do news. We just do commentary and perspectives, and your perspective is just as valid as mine. And we wanted to give you an opportunity to have your say. So, yeah, it's just, I'm just over the moon, Tom. That's what I keep coming back to. We can talk about the base runner interference. We can talk about Oklahoma pulling a Choklahoma in the 8th with the catcher not thinking a fastball was called and a slider was coming. It's just pretty good. It's surreal, man. It's something that I didn't know that I would see in my lifetime.
Me neither. I really didn't think I would see it. And it's contagious. It's just like Richard T put up there that I was reading. You know, we were 10-2. And then we in football, and then we won a national championship in baseball. So everything's headed the right way. So
and don't discount the women's golf national championship. That was the first.
No, not at all.
That was the first, and then baseball kicked it down, and now we can move on. Kermit, listen, to basketball, and of course to football, which we are investing right now in our football program. I don't think people realize what's going on. Almost at the expense of other programs, but it's one of those things. We don't have a ton of money, but what we're kind of putting it towards football right now.
Yeah, we football's what pays the bills. You know, the SEC, the contracts with ESPN. It's all about football, and that's what pays the bills. So you've got to make sure that you handle football as well.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of funny? It's actually kind of funny that for years we heard about the disadvantages that the state of Mississippi has. The whole 11.7 thing. Vanderbilt has unlimited scholarships. All of that stuff. And basically the result is Mississippi State and Ole Miss winning back-to-back national championships. Also, Pearl River won the National JUCO National Championship this year. I mean, for Mississippi and college baseball, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, not at all. And we've had some track and field national champions individuals as well, you know, recently. So, you know, in golf, men's golf went deep into the tournament. So things are looking up at Ole Miss. If you look at it, your women's rifle did really good this year and has for a few years. So when you look at the trajectory that Ole Miss sports is taking, you got to give it to Keith Carter. I mean, the girls softball team got better. I think they had a really good recruiting class this year, so things are really looking good in Oxford.
Yeah, and remember, in the Learfield Sports Trophy or whatever it's called, the All Sports Champion, Ole Miss is always going to be at a disadvantage of that because of how few sports they have. But Ole Miss has a chance at a top 20 finish in the Learfield Sports Poll with this, after finishing like 22nd last year, which was the highest ever. So, I mean, this athletic department, what's going on is absolutely clicking on all cylinders. We honestly just need to fix men's basketball at this point because women's basketball was in the tournament. Men's baseball won the national championship, and men's football was in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, before 2015, I thought I would never live to see a Sugar Bowl. That was much less a national championship. I just wanted to live to see my team play in a Sugar Bowl. And then that happened in 2015, and then it happened again in 2022. I think right now, Mike Bianco is in a position to where he can just lay to rest all the demons and just go play, because at this point it should get easier. That monkey is completely off his back. He can just recruit. He can coach. I'm sure people are going to want to show up to him. It's probably going to help his recruiting a little bit, but we'll see how that happens. Also, I'll say it again, Will Furness is due on campus next year, and that's Eddie Furness's son. So I'm looking forward to that with Tim Elko moving out the door. We're bringing in another slugger with a nice pedigree.
Oh yeah. And don't forget Taiwan. I know his future. Well, in my opinion, his future's in football. But Taiwan, he's a slugger as well. So the future looks bright next year. It really does. I don't want to jinx anything, but the future looks bright in baseball, football. It's bright everywhere. We just, like you said, we've just got to get Kermit's just got to right the ship in men's basketball, and I think a healthy Deshaun Ruffin will go a long way to remedying our problems in basketball.
Yeah, I really do. And with the transfers that's come in, Kermit is obvious. I know this is weird to have a Kermit Davis conversation today. I understand that, but Kermit is obviously bringing in players that fit a certain style that he wants to play. I think last year he tried to do what everybody else was doing. I think this year he's trying to just make it fit what he wants to do. Chad Ray, Hotty Toddy, national champs. Gray Simpson says it still hasn't hit me, and it hasn't. I'm just so proud for Jacob Gonzalez, because there was a chance for this College World Series to just leave with a whimper. And this year he was this game he was the dude. And I don't think that can be overstated.
Yeah, I don't either. And it's just, it is a team sport, and it's baseball, and I still just think it's wonderful that an Ole Miss team that a lot of us had given up on, that was 14-16 in the regular season in the SEC, that mess don't matter anymore. They've won over 40 games and they're national champions.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Now, Ole Miss is obviously going to have a parade. What will that parade look like around Oxford?
What was that, man?
Oh, what do you think the parade will look like in Oxford?
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody was trying to call me. I had to stop it. I apologize.
Okay.
What do I think the parade is going to look like in Oxford? Goodness gracious. I think it's going to be legendary, man. I think it's going to be legendary. I think the square is going to be packed. I think it's just going to be unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. Wish I could be there. Of course, I've got some things that are keeping me from being there, but I wish I could be there, and I'll have friends that I'm sure will live stream some of it to me, so I'll get to see some of it as close as I can.
Yeah, I'm sure Derek will be there as well, so maybe he can shoot some videos and get them to us.
Oh, yeah. I know he's going to be thrilled. I'm happy for Derek. I'm happy for his whole family. Him and his dad got to witness that. A lot of my good friends were there and got to witness it. I've got some good friends that they said they just couldn't not go, and they woke up at like 4:00 in the morning. They lived down in Jackson and drove to Omaha to see the game today. They just couldn't sleep. They were just, we got to go see this.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that people are able to do that. And it's like Coach Bianco said, that's not cheap. He was bragging about all the people that were there, and he said, it's not an easy place to get to, and it's not an inexpensive trip to make. So it's good that we had the people there, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more folks in Oxford. This will be of course one of the biggest days in Ole Miss history.
Yeah. And this is going to be the last Omaha Live of this season. We've had fun the last couple of days, haven't we?
We have. It's been a trip. It's Well, wish Cara and Derek could have been on here because they're much better baseball guests than I am. But hey, I'm just a big fan, and I hope everybody enjoyed what little input I had in this discussion. But dadgummit, we're national champions.
Absolutely. Say it again. We are national champions. Chad Ray has the idea. Hotty toddy, national champs.
Hotty toddy, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I'm just fired up. You know, you can go back and look at the big plays in this game that was able to push Ole Miss through. And the big one was probably that base runner interference that took a run off the board and kind of stunted their momentum. And then the next inning, Jacob Gonzalez hits the bomb. And then they get in the seventh inning maybe, or eighth inning, and load the bases and are able to push one across, and it's 2-1, and you're like, man, because you're just not hitting this guy. We talked about this on my roundtable I had with the folks from Oklahoma, and I compared their staff favorably to Vanderbilt. And this guy's absolutely the case. And then they bring in their All-American closer, and you have a catcher that thinks a fastball is coming that ends up being a slider 2 times, and it's basically pass balls, balls that he should have, and 2 runs score, and all of a sudden you look up and it's 4-2 with Brandon Johnson coming in, only needing to get 3 outs. And it's like, what just happened? Because I went from completely down in the dumps to them completely melting down, and they were doing like we make jokes all the time, the Choklahoma. And then at 4-2, it's like, well, I'm not even very worried. Landshark, that shot up to center field, he saw it well. He hit it hard. I bet the exit velocity was well over 100 miles per hour. And that was when it was like, okay, he's seeing it. Now, and he obviously saw that as well, because the next at bat, I think he hit the home run. And as big as that was and excited as that was when they scored, man, I was down. I was really, really down. But like I said, when you put pressure on teams, they wilt. Some teams rise above and harden, and some teams wilt. And you saw them dropping fly balls again. You saw them throwing balls in the dirt and not be able to make easy plays. It's because their bats wasn't working. It was affecting the other parts of their game. A similar situation happened to Ole Miss in the middle of the season. They were trying to hit 10-run home runs, and those just don't exist. But this game and the way it went down exercised so many deep demons of Ole Miss sports fandom. Just Ole Miss sports fandom. It has nothing to do with baseball than you normally see.
Yeah, this exercised a whole bunch of demons for the Ole Miss fan base. Just like I said last night, the Ole Miss team, of course, deserved it, but not to take away from that, but this Ole Miss fan base deserves a national championship.
Yes, they deserved it perhaps more than any other team in the country. But let's just be honest. On April 30th, nobody thought that was happening. There's not a single person that thought a national championship was an option. And if they tell you they were, they're lying. There's a difference with saying they don't think a coach needs to be fired. You know, that was the argument that Ole Miss fans were having. But
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And they brought that up at the post game, you know, and coach just kind of shrugged it off, man. He's a class act.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to do the we have receipts trash talking back on Twitter. He's not going to do that. That'll be our job, I think.
Yeah, he's a class act. We need to take care of that man.
So, Howard Ferguson says, you and Tom are dead on. Thanks. Thank you, Howard. It's always fun to be dead on. And, you know, this is supposed to be a joyous occasion. In the future, we can dive into exactly what happened and dig into it. But tonight, we're going to have fun at the moment. And let's see, I know we're 45 minutes into this, but, Jacob Gonzalez was 3 for 4, scored 2 runs, 2 of the 4, 3 of the 6 hits. Justin Bench had a huge hit before all this happened. And then TJ McCants, absolute nails on that hit. He came up with a big hit last night, came up with a big hit tonight. He was a unsung star of the Ole Miss baseball team tonight to go along with the pitching that absolutely sold their soul to the devil or something because they look completely different than they did.
Oh yeah. You look at you think you go back to, like you said, to April the 30th, and we were a hot mess, and nobody expected. The pitching was just so stinking good. The whole postseason, it was just so stinking good, and I don't know what happened or how it happened, or if the old voodoo curse that got put Ole Miss back in the 60s went away or whatever happened, but it's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful feeling. It's going to be wonderful. I don't even know if I'm going to get to sleep tonight. It's just wonderful.
Hey, right here. Let's see. Click on that link. There's the address for all your national championship gear. That's the official stuff. They have some stuff that looks pretty good. But it'll be just go to the NCAA baseball account and that link is there. I'm sure Ole Miss is going to have stuff pretty quick. Let's look at the OleMissSports.com and see if they have any stuff up real quick. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. There is a nice graphic up that says Baseball National Champions, which they deserve completely. And I do not see anything official yet. Harry Gong says, although Gonzo lacked offensive prowess in the earlier games, the magic erupted in the final game that counted. Absolutely. Congrats, Ole Miss, from a PCAP alumni? P-I-K-A-P-P. PCAP, I think that is. But that was a big game there. And like I said, when Ole Miss beat Arkansas, they got past Arkansas. Ole Miss was going to win the College World Series, whether it was today or tomorrow. Dylan DeLucia was the MVP, and the way this team threw the ball over the last couple of weeks, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Somebody else can tell you in the NCAA tournament the total amount of runs scored and the total amount given up, and it will absolutely blow your mind. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 30. I mean, it was a huge thing for Ole Miss. It absolutely huge.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to see it in my lifetime. That's all I can say, man. I'm just got a good, warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to stop it there. We gave y'all an hour on the live stream. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you for making your second Locked On SEC your second listen. Chris Gordy gives 30 minutes of all kinds of info. Tune in to Locked On SEC, and they can let you know exactly what is up. Anyway, for Tom Vanderford, I'm Steven Willis, and I want to say thank y'all for tuning in, and of course, we did it, man. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.